Now we're going to add the functionality to be able to edit a recipe. We already have created this create recipe page over here. Now the core components of editing and creating a recipe are the same, so we're going to use this same page to be able to dynamically create or edit a recipe, and I'll show you how we make that distinction. So I'm going to go back to our home page and just start by adding an edit button onto these recipes. Now, right now there really is no place to put an edit button, but I really like the button to be on top of all of this stuff, maybe just over here floating a little. I'm going to click on this column and then right click. Here we're going to get the option to wrap the widget. I'm going to choose to wrap it in a stack. Now that we have a stack, I'm going to go over here, take an icon and drag it into our stack. And I'm going to go here and make sure it's in our stack. Now we have the icon and you can see it's kind of floating over everything else. So here we have the column and then the icon that's floating on top of that. That's what the stack does. We haven't used it before, but as you can imagine, it allows us to stack objects. Now on this icon, I can choose to change the alignment and then some padding. I'm going to add 18 pixels of padding on the top and right side, and it's just going to float over a little bit like that. I'm also going to make it this edit option. And let's make it our blue primary color. Now, this looks good to me. A little problem is that it looks like we're editing the image instead of the thing as a whole. So I'm actually going to go and make one simple change on this image. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to make the border radius 60. This is going to make it a circle. So now it looks like we're editing the whole thing instead of just that singular image. Up here there seems to be some issues, so I'm going to make sure the height and the width are the same. Perfect, so now this is a complete circle. I'm also going to click on this container and only put 4 pixels of padding on the top. That's going to stretch it out a little bit more. So now this icon is overlaying and it looks like we're editing the recipe as a whole. I'm going to do the same thing down here. I'm going to click on the column over here, choose wrap widget, let's wrap it in a stack, and then I'm going to go here and add in an icon into the stack. So now we have the column and then the icon on top. This icon is going to be left aligned, and I'm going to give it 4 pixels of padding. This one doesn't look the best, but I'm going to leave it as so because at this point I want to focus more on functionality and less on design because it already looks good enough, as you would say. Okay, now let's make it so that when we click on this edit button, we are navigated to this create recipes page where instead of everything being about creating a recipe, it will all be about editing a recipe. Now in order to do that and use the same page for both things, we need to know whether we are creating or editing. This is where page parameters come in. I'm going to call this edit. It's going to be a boolean, which is going to be a yes or no. So yes, this is edit, or no, it's not. And I'm going to say by default, it is a no. And we can just say it's required. Now the second thing I want to do is add a parameter for us to be able to send over the recipe that we're editing. This is not going to be required as we're only going to use it when we are editing a recipe. And we can call this recipe. This is going to be of type document and it's going to be a recipe item. Now I'm going to click confirm. We have set it up so that we're sending over, first of all, whether we're editing or not, and second of all, the recipe we're editing. Now let's work out the navigation. Over here, I'm going to click on this icon, go over here and choose add an action. We are going to navigate to our create recipes page. We're going to pass in 2 parameters, edit, where while it's false for default is going to be true, and then recipe is going to be the recipe item connected to this particular thing. I'm going to add the same functionality down here to this icon. I'm going to do it faster this time. All we need to do is navigate to our Create Recipes page, pass it into parameters, edit is true, and then recipe is the recipe document associated with this particular one. Now let's go to this Create Recipes page. Before we actually get to letting the user edit, let's start by figuring out how we can use conditional visibility to change a couple things. So up here we have a piece of text. I'm actually going to right click and wrap it in a row. Then I'm going to click on this text and duplicate it. One is going to say Create Recipe, the other is going to say Edit Recipe. Just like we did in search, we're going to use conditional visibility to control which one we show. Create Recipe is going to be visible only when our edit is false. Edit Recipe is going to be visible only when our edit is true. On this one, to say edit is false, we had to apply opposite statement. We want to do the same thing down here with this button. Instead of wrapping it in a row, what we can also do is copy and then paste another one into the same column and then make one say edit, the other say create. And I'm going to make them conditionally visible in the same way. This edit button is going to be visible only when edit is true, and create is going to be visible only when create is true. Oops. Only when edit is not true. There's some issues here on our home page, just in case you get that. All you need to do is make this image slightly smaller. I'm going to make this 110. And now everything's fixed. You see, it was supposed to be 110. There was just a typo with the 119. Now we see these edit buttons. If we click on it, we are brought to this edit recipe. Ignore that for now. And this is edit recipe and this is edit. We can still go back, click on the plus sign, and this says create recipe and this says create. We have information stored about the recipe that we're trying to edit, and we have all these different fields. So what we want to do is display the current information about the recipe and allow the user to edit it if they would like. The way we do this is with initial value. So here we have the name field, and I can choose to have its initial value be the name of the recipe that we're trying to edit. We do that by clicking here to the dynamic thing, then going to our recipe page parameter. We want to choose get document property, and we just want to retrieve its name, and click confirm. We want to do that for each of these with the corresponding property. Click on the parameter recipe, choose get document property, and then the desired property. I'm going to do that for each of these and check back when I'm done. Now we want to make it so that when they edit one of these names and then click edit, that information is stored and reflected in the recipe. Let's add an action. let's click on this button and add an action. We currently have all of these to create the recipe. We can continue to validate the form. But instead of creating a backend call to create a document, we want a backend call under Firestore to update a document. The document that we want to update is this page parameter recipe. And we just want to choose get document property reference and click confirm. Now we can set the fields. And I'm just going to click on all of them. What we want to do is set this to whatever the value of the inputs are. Remember how we populated them all with the default value? If the user leaves it like that, then nothing really changes. Otherwise, the updated value is then saved in the database. I'm going to choose from variable and then click on widget state and then my input name. I'm going to do that for each of these. This is exactly what we did for the create. Description. Date created we don't need, so we can remove that. You can choose to have the date updated field. You would want to change that. Created by, we can leave that as it is as well. Link we want to update. Saved we don't want to update. And then image we can deal with in a bit. I'm just going to remove it for now. So this is going in and updating each of those inputs. And then it's just going to navigate us back to the home page. Let's try this out. When I click on the plus button, you can see that all of the inputs are as they normally are. However, when I click on this edit button, we are brought to this, and aside from this image, all of these are pre-populated with whatever information was initially part of it. This is pre-populated with the information from the recipe that we had sent over. When I choose Greek salad instead of classic Greek salad, then click edit, I'm prompted to upload an image. Why is that? Remember here we'd set up the form validator? Well, we'd also set it up to validate and make sure that we had actually uploaded data. So when we didn't on error, there's an action that's prompting us to actually upload the data. We can remove this, it doesn't matter. Regardless, we won't be able to submit because we haven't uploaded an image. So what's the way around this? Well, the truth is, there isn't a very easy one. I have a video on how to do this so your user can actually edit the video, edit the image. But what I'm going to do for now is just use conditional visibility to hide this upload when we're not editing. And just show a regular image. I just copy pasted. Let's drag this up. Just show a regular image when we are editing. So the one I copy pasted is going to be visible when we edit, and it's going to have no actions. Down here, our path is just going to be our recipe documents image. Let's try this out. Now, when I click on Greek salad, we're brought here, we see the image. I can edit this to Greek salad instead of classic Greek salad. Click edit, and it still won't work. Why? Because it's still checking whether that's visible or not if it hasn't uploaded an image, and it's seeing that it doesn't. All we need to do is go down here to our edit button. And when we're validating the form, we're just going to say don't terminate if validation fails. This makes no effect to our create recipe workflow, so that still works as desired. But this time, when we just choose Greek salad and click edit, we see Greek salad changed. And this works with any of these as well. One last thing. Here, we're allowing a user to edit any recipe here. But in reality, we only want the users to be able to edit the recipes they created. What we need to do to make this simple change is just go to our home page, click on our icon, and add conditional visibility, which we've had so much practice with. Right now, all of our conditional visibilities have been based on a parameter that was already a yes or no, a Boolean value. We just need to do one extra step to turn it into a yes or no value. We want to go here to condition and choose a single condition. We just want to make sure that the authenticated user's user reference is equal to our recipe items created by. So the current user is whoever created that recipe item. Now I'm just going to click confirm. And if this is true, then we'll see it. If we look at our content, we can see that all of these are created by me, the same user. And so we see all of these edit signs. I'm going to log in with a different account. I'm with a different account. And we can't see the edits for any of these. We do still see them down here, so all we need to do is add in the same condition that we have here. We can just click on it and choose copy variable. We want to put that same condition down here. And we can just choose the paste and click confirm. Our second value, however, needs to be our recipe document, our recipe document's user reference, instead of what it previously was. Now we click confirm, I can reload here, and we're going to see those edit signs go away. Perfect. So now we know how to let the user edit a reference. Let's make sure they can delete one.